Hello everyone and welcome to another scrapbook layout share. I actually have 9 layouts to share with you today. I've created a workshop guide using this gorgeous paper and I've got 4 double page spreads and 1 single layout. The collection that I've used are from our July-September seasonal catalogue and I'm concentrating on the Backyard Bliss collection. You can see here it's very spring and these 2 gorgeous people here I'm very happy to call friends. Chris Lothian helped design all of this collection with close to my heart, so she had a lot of input with this collection and it is gorgeous and it really reflects her love of the outdoors and exploring. So let's have a look at what I've used in this workshop guide. I've used this paper packet here. I haven't used the sticker sheet for this one. I've concentrated on the papers and the die cuts, which are a wood type finish, so they're printed paperboard, so they're a lot thinner than our usual wooden shapes, which is really lovely to work with. And I've also used the Picture My Life cards. I've pretty much, as I said, used all the paper. I've used all the die cuts. I have a few PML cards left over, but I have plans for future projects with these. So let's have a flip through of what I've created. On this first layout, you can see I've used the paperboard wood die cut here, and that was so easy to press out. I've also introduced some liquid pearls. This is Bisque, which is a gorgeous soft goldy color, and I thought that worked really well with these papers. I've used it to put little dots around and anchor things. I've also used it for the center of flowers. These 2 are PML cards, so I've cut this one out and this one has been tucked behind, so this will become a journaling spot and this is the title. I've inked around all the edges of these pieces and I've also stretched the zip strip. So here's one full zip strip here and the other one I've cut out to tuck in behind this element here to make it look like it goes continuously across the page. This zip strip is so fun. It actually looks like a knife, fork and plate, but it's actually a gardening fork, a gardening trowel and an aerial view of a hat. So that's a bit cute to have on the layouts. Cutting the titles out of the PML cards rather than keeping them as a 6x4 is a good way to introduce titles to your page without having to create your own. I think this layout might be my favorite one out of all of them. I've used the pattern paper as the backdrop and then put a white daisy piece over top to create this section here, and the eye is all drawn in to the photo. This part is a journaling strip from the Picture My Life card, and I've also cut this PML card up so that it looks like it extends all the way down the page. Cutting up the PML cards is always so much fun to do. I really enjoy doing that. It sort of creates their own embellishments rather than leaving them as just flat cards, but they do provide a perfect place to put journaling. These are the wood embellishments that are the die cuts, and I'll hold this up and hopefully you can see they really are quite thin. They don't add a lot of bulk to the page at all. Putting a little piece of pattern paper, that's this pattern paper here. This is actually papaya, but you'll notice as I go through I've introduced peach rather than papaya as a lot of the mats for the pages. The next layout I've actually introduced rosemary as the photo mats because I think it works really well with this pattern. The other side of this pattern paper is actually totally floral, but I just love this print with all the gardening tools, the cone flowers and the vegetables and leaves. I love how that looks. You can see I've torn back a little piece of it there, so I've just torn the edge and then rolled it back and popped a little bit of the grass pattern paper behind it, and you can see I'm also cutting up the PML cards as well, and there's some more of the wooden shapes. There's a whole title and more of the bisque pearls decorating these elements to make them all look like they belong. These little tabs here are actually cut from the PML cards, so you can see this green comes from here and the blue comes from another PML card, and this is another one of the gorgeous zip strips. This next layout was a lot of fun to do. Nothing here is technically straight except for the bottom section here, so basically I've just angled layers, but I've angled them in such a way that when I tuck them down and then I have them up against the paper that you don't see the white edges of the background paper. More wood shapes on these ones, these little tabs and offcuts of the PML cards, and then using another PML card as a title and cutting out a little decorative elements from a couple of them to get this little watering can, and then this looks like a sticker that you've put on the page. Roughing up all the edges on this, I think, just adds a great texture as well. And I've used Sapphire as mats for this, and I've used the light side because I felt it was a little bit softer than using the regular colour of Sapphire, which is a bit darker. The final layout here, you can see I've put a grid pattern here. Instead of going for squares, I've kept them as rectangles. And then this is peach, which you would have seen in the very first layout. And this is one of the zip strips. So I think the peach really works well with these papers. And you can see here, this is the floral side of that pattern paper with all the vegetables and the gardening tools. And it really is very, very pretty. I've threaded some twine through the die cut so that the buttons look like they've been stitched onto the layout. And once again, I've used liquid pearls around this. And this is a title from the die cuts as well. So there are the 9 layouts from this workshop. If I get them around the right way, I'm just going to bring them all back in here. The workshop guide instructions are available to purchase if you want to make these up. You can drop me a line on my Facebook page, or you can DM me on Instagram. All the details are down below in the description. I really loved working with these papers. It's a little bit different from my usual style of layouts. I don't often have a lot of pinks or peach tones in my layouts, but I think these all work really nicely together, and introducing the sage, the rosemary and the sapphire along with the peach, I think just brings all of these together. So I can see photos of my mum on here. She's a gardener. She has the green thumb. Most of the plants I've got in my garden are from her, that she has struck and grown herself. So this will be a nice little addition to the family album that I'm going to put together for her. Thank you so much for watching. Happy crafting, and bye for now.